Hi everybody, welcome very much to the channel. Esoteric Cloud Surfer here, ready to talk about the preparation for the full moon in Aries. Thank you for watching. Leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed the content. Use the links down below to check more of my content and to get services with me. So the moon is right now in Pisces, 27 degrees as I'm recording the video, but even if you're watching after the moon is already in Aries, we're still on a transition phase. We catch energy late, so this video is still very useful. So now with the moon in Pisces, it means we are reacting and responding to ours and others' feelings, emotions, dreams, illusions, imaginations, emotional and spiritual purposes, creativity, and overall goals in life, right? So a lot of vibes and a lot of waves can be caught by you, or you just existing, you just being in a certain creative state, you just believing in a certain spiritual fact can create a specific vibe that can ooze into others as well. So you might attract people that want to experience your crazy vibes, or they want you to add on to their crazy vibes. So keep in check, don't go too far, don't go too crazy with your emotions, with your dreams and illusions. Make sure you keep on track. Use a little bit of the Virgo energy to make sure that the creativity has somewhere to go and it works for something and it makes sense on a more realistic way. Right then, as the moon goes into Aries, we're going to be overreacting and over responding to more personal feelings that deal with how we see ourselves and how we create new visions, new expressions, and new actions that deal with our deep desires, passions, motivation, aggressiveness, and frustration. So, right now, we are getting the dream, we are getting the juices, we are getting the vibes to then initiate new feelings of passion, motivation, and frustration that can lead us into more personal, creative, and realistic, as in what's really important to you, type of feelings and circumstances, right? So as we go into the full moon in Aries, there will be that shift from a more soft, delusional, watery vibe to a more unique, independent, rash, or like lonely kind of vibes. Because with the full moon in Aries, if you planted the right seeds, you'll manifest, attract, or realize the real relationships. But your real relationships, the ones that really value your creativity and your individuality, are not that much, because it's personal. It's not supposed to be much. It's not supposed to be a bunch of relationships. So you might feel lonelier than usual. You might feel like you kind of can't experience or not getting as much fulfilled from other relationships, but you should focus on what you have attracted in terms of great relationships. Or if you don't have it, it means the other ones are not necessary. If you feel too lonely and like you have nobody to connect to, perhaps it's true and it's better to be alone than in bad companies. You know what I'm saying? So after that, it's very also important for you to have a clear mind state here. So for you to know which dreams and illusions should you start expressing or creating new passions and motivations about once the moon goes into Aries, right? Because Pisces allow us to just be connected to a lot of type of creativity, a lot of because when we say dreams, we say dreams not just when you go to sleep and you dream, but also when you are awake in your daily life and you're doing something, but your mind wanders, or you get inspired, or you get these crazy feelings, either good or bad, right? So right now you should identify some of those dreams, some of those feelings, right? And make sure they are aligned with your personal interests, they are aligned with how you want to be seen and how you want to see yourself, as in the best way possible, and make sure they are real, as in they are important to you, they are important to others, or they are important to your development, or they make you feel fulfilled. Because then once the full moon happens in Aries, if you don't have something personal, if you don't have something that connects deeply with you, that makes you passionate or frustrated, because that can be positive, you're going to feel unfulfilled and then you're gonna try to create these quick relationships or these quick visions or these quick feelings just to fulfill you, but they're not real spiritually speaking. They're not real creatively speaking. They're not real to you personally. You know what I'm saying? And that basically is everything from the transition from the moon in Pisces to the moon in Aries full moon, right? So now let's see the sun, because right now the moon in Pisces is fatal attracting, it's inconjuncting the sun in Libra. And this is especially important because Venus rules Libra and Venus is exalted in Pisces. So relationships, pleasure, commitment, and values are the focus here right now before the moon goes into Aries, right? What is the difference or what is the danger here? Is that you might value something too much that you shouldn't be valuing that much. You might get too comfortable, too soft, too sophisticated. You might just be too gullible and be too much of a pushover, and you might actually be loving something that is toxic to you, or you might be toxic, but because you're receiving validation and love and commitment from somebody else, you think you're doing okay. And when I say toxic, I'm not saying being aggressive. That also might be that, or being passive aggressive, or being actively toxic. You might be being toxic to yourself, as in you are accepting certain values, you are accepting certain relations, you are accepting certain parameters in your life, in your mind, in your feelings, in your relationships, and because of this very heavy charge of the Venus energy, you might feel everything is fine, everything is smooth, everything is good, everything is so relatable, and we support each other, and you might not be supported, you might just be getting used and drained. So make sure to kill the dream a little bit, bring the reality, bring the receipts, to make sure the relationships are valuable to you and you are valuing them. Because once again, once the moon goes into Aries, we will be overreacting to, or the lack of, personal relationships. So if you're too open right now, and you don't start focusing right now on those more personal, realistic, spiritually speaking, relationships, then those are the relationships that you're gonna be overreacting to, and because they're not real, they're not personal, they're not aligned with your creativity, individuality, and personal interests, it will just clash and get out of proportion or just cancel immediately. But also always remember, it's gonna be full moon in Aries. So every time it's a full moon, you and others might be overreacting. So if something crazy goes on, just remember, it's the full moon. Let's take a break here. Let's take a breather. Let's bring some clarity, because the moon is full of emotions and feelings. So we must be the ones to bring some clarity. We must be the ones bringing some logic, especially when the full moon is in Aries, because it's a lot of fire, a lot of sun, ego, a lot of Mars, passion, frustration, aggressiveness, desire, and motivation, actually, right? And to conclude, just once again, very, very important, this full moon, especially full moon in Aries, is really about relationships, because we go from Pisces to Aries. So make sure you are your goddamn self, because without you, you can't relate. If you do not protect your values, nobody will. If you don't go for your personal interests, even for your personal insecurities, nobody will. So make sure you are using and in the right relationships, so you can relate those things, you can be supported on those areas, and whoever you're relating to, they actually not only value you, but also your personality, your personal interests, and they all either value / and or support your personal insecurities as well. Because a relationship is very good for that. We can build on each other's insecurities and make them external securities. Because an insecurity is something that you are secure inside. You don't feel comfortable bringing it out. You don't feel comfortable using it to connect with others or to the world. But on a relationship, on a good personal spiritual ship, the partners make each other's insecurities external securities so they can use and be their goddamn selves. So thank you very much for watching. Your support is greatly appreciated. I wish you the best thoughts, ideas, feelings, and emotions. A whole bunch of individuality, creativity, and responsibility as well. Believe in yourself, believe in all possibilities, and the best way to be is to be your goddamn self. See you next time.